नमस्कार दोस्तों, टुडे वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द अफ्रीका कॉन्टिनेंट। मैं आपको पढ़ाऊंगा नहीं, सिखाऊंगा कि व्हाट इज़ द वे टू लर्न अबाउट ए कॉन्टिनेंट, particularly in map pointing. As you are aware, Africa is the second largest continent by area and also by population. Well, Africa in north we have Mediterranean Sea. In the west we have Atlantic Ocean. We have southeast surrounded by Indian Ocean, and here northeast we have the Red Sea. And this particular Africa, whenever we want to learn, so what is the way? Generally we have to use certain techniques, or what we say common sense, to learn about some countries or to remember that countries. Take for example Maghreb. So Morocco, Algeria and Tunisia, these group of countries usually referred as Maghreb. And when we go by a group of countries, clear now? Take Tropic of Cancer passing through the Western Sahara, the Mauritania, Mali, okay, Algeria, Libya and Egypt. So this is the group of countries through which Tropic of Cancer passes. And when it comes to equator, Gabon, here you see Gabon, we have Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Kenya and Somalia. These are the group of countries through which equator passes. Okay. Now Tropic of Capricorn, okay, this is passing through Namibia, Botswana, okay, South Africa, Mozambique and the Madagascar. This is Tropic of Capricorn passing through the African countries. Now we have the prime meridian, the 0° longitude, passes through Algeria, we have Mali, we have Burkina Faso and Ghana. These are the countries through which the 0° longitude passes. So I have talked about how to group some countries, how we can remember a set of countries. Now I will use another method, that is, if you go by the coastal countries. So certainly I did not clear now say to you, you can certainly find here the countries like Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt. They are coastal. The same way these countries are also coastal, so I am not going to say that what are the coastal countries. Usually most of the continents have indented coastline, means they have much bends, but whereas Africa doesn't have that. That's why the coastline of Africa is somewhat smaller when compared to European continent. Okay, now another group of countries, when we grouped the coastal countries, then certainly we need to group another set that is called as the landlocked countries. If you go by landlocked countries, so here we have seen the countries which doesn't have access to the coast directly and they are surrounded by other group of countries, then we say landlocked. You can see Mali, Niger, Chad, clear now? Okay, these are what type of countries? Ethiopia, Burkina Faso, CAR, Central African Republic. The same way Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, okay, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, The same way Lesotho, Swaziland, these are all the group of countries which are landlocked. So we have learned how a group of countries through which Tropic of Cancer passes, or equator passes, or Tropic of Capricorn passes, or 0-degree longitude passes, and then the coastal countries in Africa, then the landlocked countries in Africa. This should be like an exercise. Whenever the student wants to learn first, it should have a procedure. There is a procedure to learn. Map pointing is not something like seeing and copying. It is we need to have a systematically learning procedure. Then at the same time, we will talk about some other techniques which is very simple, but usually some people don't follow. Now let us take that is whenever we discuss about geographical epithets, or what we say sobriquets, then we see the total Africa was once called as dark continent because very less was known about Africa. Then we have, say, South Africa, about which we have rainbow nation. So South Africa, Desmond Tutu, and later on after the end of the apartheid, how South Africa came to be referred as rainbow nation, a nation where different types of races live and merge together. So South Africa, a rainbow nation. Madagascar, the eighth continent, because it is completely separate, and almost 80% plus flora and fauna found here is not to be seen anywhere else on this earth. So thus earning the title the eighth continent. The same way Egypt, the gift of Nile. The same way Rwanda, clear now, land of 1,000 hills. A very small country called Rwanda, it is referred as land of 1,000 hills. The same way Somalia, the Horn of Africa. The same way Cameroon, Africa in miniature. Certainly it indicates it is like a mini Africa. Means all the features we could see in Africa, we can see in small in Cameroon. That means different types of languages are spoken, different types of people live here. So that's why Cameroon is called as Africa in miniature. Okay. Mini India. When it comes to Hinduism, clear now, we know that India is once where Hindu majority, then we have Nepal, Hindu majority country. But do you know that even in Africa also there is one Hindu majority country, and that is Mauritius. Clear? So the Mauritius here we have. So this Mauritius is sometimes referred as the mini India of Africa. We have Comoros islands, perfumed islands. The same way the copper country Zambia, because much copper ore is found here. So that's why copper country. The same way island of cloves. Near to Tanzania we have Zanzibar. Clear now? You should know that Tanganyika and these Zanzibar islands together, clear now, merged, and today we refer them as Tanzania. Okay. Now gateway of tears, Bab el Mandeb. So Bab el Mandeb is referred as the gateway of tears. White man's grave, that is Guinea coast. Clear now? So here we have the Guinea, and the Guinea coast is generally referred as the white man's grave. In the same way, giant of Africa is Nigeria. The most populated country in Africa is Nigeria. So Nigeria is referred as giant of Africa. Now I will take you to another level. So now we need to learn. That is, these are some of the countries, clear now, which we have seen. Now another technique. Now let us say here there are some countries where the rivers connecting two or more capitals. We have some rivers like Danube, which is called as an international river because it connects almost 4 European capital cities. Now in Africa we have Brazzaville and Kinshasa. Clear now? We have one Congo here, one Democratic Republic of Congo. So two Congos. So Brazzaville and Kinshasa. Both are connected by, both are clear now on the banks of the river Congo. So river Congo is connecting two capitals. In the same way, Egypt's capital Cairo and Sudan's capital Khartoum and even South Sudan capital Juba. These three are connected by river Nile. At the same time, river Niger connects Niamey and Bamako. Clear now? Clear now? So, two important clear now capitals are connected. So now I talked about river Congo connecting two capitals, whereas river Nile connecting Cairo, Khartoum and also Juba, and Niamey and Bamako are connected by river Niger. Okay, this is another way. Now I will take you to another kind of exercise. The countries which have most neighbors. Clear now? This should be learned by you. One has to learn by oneself. Don't rely on me. I'm actually saying the technique. Means what sort of exercises you have to do if you want to really learn something about Africa forever. Clear now? So now next level is, take for example Democratic Republic of Congo, and what are the countries around it? Then you will find altogether 9 neighboring countries. That is the highest a country has in African continent. Now next comes to Sudan. If you take Sudan, so Sudan is surrounded by Egypt, Libya, Chad, Central African Republic, South Sudan, Ethiopia and Eritrea. Now these together make Sudan the 7 neighboring countries. Now the same way Tanzania and Zambia. So here we have Tanzania and then Zambia. They too are surrounded by 7 each. Now this is like an exercise. So whenever you write, you need to write Democratic Republic of Congo. Then you imagine in your mind that what are the countries surrounding Democratic Republic of Congo. Now what is the need or the use? The use is, if you can say the 9 surrounding countries or neighboring countries of Democratic Republic of Congo, that means in connection to Congo you are able to say 9. Then in relation to Sudan, 7. Tanzania 7 and Zambia 7. Okay, now comes take the male. Some commonly generally children, they want to first learn, sir, some techniques, some common sense. Now let us take a male. Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Egypt. M-A-L-E, male. So this is one way to remember a set of countries. The same way, D-E-S-K, desk, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia and Kenya. Please pronounce Kenya. Now remember, Kenya is the only country in the world which has not altered its name or changed its name. Rather, it changed its pronunciation. So you need to say not Kenya, you have to say Kenya. So we have desk, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia and Kenya. So this is desk, D-E-S-K. Now we have say Z, Z and Z. Now what are the 3 Z's? You see Zimbabwe, Zambia, and this was Congo, once referred as Zaire, Z-A-I-R-E. Now if you see, Zaire contains 5 letters, but it is the largest. Zambia contains 6 letters, bit smaller and below it. Then Zimbabwe contains 8 letters and this is the smallest. So 8 letter, clear now, more letters but smaller the size, and at the bottom it is located. Zambia contains 6 but it is in the middle because just above 8 this 6-letter word, and just above 6-letter word the 5-lettered word called as Zaire once. Today Zaire's name is Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo and Congo. Now one thing is certain, most of the children might be thinking, sir, here we have some countries which share their names. Means more than one country we have. Take for example, here we have Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, clear now, and Equatorial Guinea. So 3 countries having the Guinea, the word. And here you see South Africa, and once upon a time Namibia too was called as Southwest Africa. Clear now? So South Africa and Southwest Africa. Zimbabwe was referred as South Rhodesia, whereas Zambia was called as North Rhodesia. So here you see again the similarity type of names. Okay, the same way here we have, this is Central African Republic. Okay, right. And another version, let us see. Clear now? So we said male, M-A-L-E, male, and another is Morocco, Algeria and Tunisia can be called as Maghreb region. Okay, fine. And this is called as the Horn of Africa, right? And this is the 8th continent, completely separate island, right? Whereas Mozambique is again unique because it is the only country perhaps which contains all the vowels A, E, I, O, U. Okay, right. Now here I would like to throw light. That is, what sort of country is South Africa? So South Africa, if I will ask you to show the Africa map, then we have two countries like enclaved. So they are Lesotho and Swaziland. So when you see Lesotho and Swaziland, so if I will ask you to show the South Africa map, so these two spots you have to show as white colored and the remaining colored. So then how the South Africa will look like? As if it is punched. The paper is punched. So that's why this sort of countries, clear now, countries which have one or two enclaves, clear now. So as you can see here, Lesotho and Swaziland. So this sort of countries are called as punched countries. Okay, now, right. Now you can see here Namibia, and Namibia has one narrow land extending and almost touching Zambia and Zimbabwe too. So this type of things geographically called as panhandles, P-A-N-H-A-N-D-L-E-S. You can see the best beautiful example for Namibia. We have this is called as panhandle. Okay, right. Now the point is, altogether in Africa we find 54 countries. So one I said male, one is desk, another group of 3 jets, that is Zimbabwe, Zambia and Zaire. So this is 3 group of countries. Now let us see here, there are some island countries also, like Cape Verde, Comoros, Madagascar, Mauritius, Seychelles, Sao Tome and Principe. These are the countries which are completely islands. Okay, now at the same time you can see here Grain Coast, Ivory Coast, Gold Coast and Slave Coast. Fantastic. Clear now? So here we have the Grain Coast, and then Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Gold Coast, Togo and Benin, the Slave Coast. So all together we find that is 1, 2, 3, 4 separate names for these coasts. Okay, right. Next is now some other ways how to remember the African continent. You see, you have to use just a common sense. Take for example, some of the countries in Africa, they share their names with some river bodies. Take Gambia, Senegal, Niger, Congo. These share the names with rivers, countries. Whereas we have Chad, Malawi, clear now, Chad and Malawi. These countries share their names with lakes. Okay. Now the same way we have some capital cities also which are named after the rivers. Lilongwe, Nairobi, Freetown, Tunis, Babane. These are some of the capital cities which are named after the rivers. So some countries named after rivers, some countries named after the lakes, and some capital cities named after the rivers. This is one more way to group the countries. Now sometimes we need to see that what is special or unique about a particular country. Even though there are 54 countries, so they are sovereign countries. So sovereign countries means those countries which are free to take decisions regarding their internal and external affairs. In other words, they are free and independent countries. Now if you see Reunion Island, Mayotte Island, Saint Helena and Western Sahara, this part, these are till today not sovereign, or some are overseas territories held by some foreign countries. Okay, now if you go by the borders, clear now, interesting borders like Black Volta between Ivory Coast and Ghana, Black Volta. Okay, River Orange between South Africa and Namibia, River Zambezi dividing Zambia and Zimbabwe, River Limpopo separating South Africa from Botswana, and the same river Limpopo also separates or forms the boundary between South Africa and Zimbabwe. Okay, this is another set of countries where we have borders formed by rivers. And we have 16th parallel. Namibia and Angola are separated by what we say 16th parallel. Now if you will go by some of the countries which had old names, clear now, and the new names. This is another set which we need to focus. Take Benin here, once called as Dahomey. Botswana, once referred as Bechuana land. Burkina Faso, referred as once Upper Volta. The same way Congo as Zaire, Djibouti as French Somaliland. Ethiopia, Abyssinia, Ghana was referred as Gold Coast. Lesotho, Basuto land. Malawi, Nyasa land. Whereas Namibia, Southwest Africa. Togo was called as Togo land. In the same way Zambia, North Rhodesia, and Zimbabwe as South Rhodesia. So this is another group of countries, means old and the new names or the modern names. Clear? In the same way, Ethiopia was referred as Abyssinia. So wherever we find Abyssinia, this is Ethiopia. This is another way of learning. Now we will go by another way. That is what we have to say is the very interesting exercise. I think you might have seen many countries now sharing border with each other. But there is something special when I ask a question that 4 countries that border with one another. How many such groups you can find in the entire African continent? Means 4 countries that border with one another. This type of groups, how many you can find? So I am naming them. See Tanzania. So in all the 3 groups you have Tanzania. Take Tanzania forming the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Burundi. So Tanzania, Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda and Burundi. All these 4 groups, they touch each other. That means each country, say Tanzania touches the remaining 3 borders, Congo touches these 3, and Rwanda touches remaining 3, Burundi also touches the remaining 3. So that means 4 countries that border with one another. Another combination is Tanzania, again Democratic Republic of Congo, okay, Rwanda and Uganda. So here what is missing is, earlier we said Burundi, this time we have not included Burundi, we have said Uganda. So this is another set of 4 countries, again they touch each other. The same way Tanzania towards south, Tanzania share boundary with another 4 countries, Malawi, Mozambique and Zambia. So here also Mozambique touches Tanzania, Zambia and Malawi. Malawi also touches Tanzania, Zambia, Mozambique. Zambia touches Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique. In this way, all the 4 countries share border with each other. So 4 countries that border with one another, this type of countries, we have only 3 sets. All the 3 sets involves Tanzania. That is interesting. Okay. Now we will discuss about, that is, some countries which are capital cities, which are port towns or port cities, like Ghana's capital Accra, Algiers, Abidjan, Cape Town, Bissau, Dakar, Djibouti. Clear now? Then Conakry, Freetown, Lome, Libreville, okay, Luanda, Mogadishu. So this type of Maputo, clear now? Port Louis. The same way Tripoli, Tunis. These are all the capital cities of African countries which are port cities. Okay. Now when it comes to the arc, so this is, we need to remember like arc. Senegal, okay, in this arc we find Senegal, Gambia, very small country, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, and then we have Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin. So this forms like an arc. So this group of countries you need to remember in one group, as one group. Okay, so right. Now you see another interesting feature is M for Mauritania, M for Mali, Mauritania, below it is Mali, Burkina Faso, Benin, B and B, Niger, Nigeria, N, M, Chad, Central African Republic, C and C, S for Sudan, S for South Sudan, S and S, Eritrea and Ethiopia, E and E. Okay, this is another way we have to remember. This is one more technique. And next we have the countries which have more than one capital city. And certainly that is in the world, perhaps there is only one country called South Africa which has 3 capitals, not 1, 2, they are 3 altogether. So we have Pretoria, which is now called as Swan, then we have Cape Town, then we have Bloemfontein, so 3 capitals. Whereas Benin too has Porto Novo, so which is the official capital, and Cotonou is clear now, judiciary capital. Burundi, Gitega, official capital, whereas Bujumbura is where executive capital. Cote d'Ivoire has Yamoussoukro, official, and Abidjan de facto. Eswatini is actually the name of Swaziland. Swaziland, earlier people used to get confused with Switzerland, so that's why Swaziland is renamed as Eswatini, which has 2 capitals, Babane and Lobamba. Clear? Whereas Tanzania, early official is Dodoma, whereas Dar es Salaam is de facto. Still most of the offices are located in Dar es Salaam. Whereas Western Sahara, this particular Western Sahara which is in conflict, so Lyon is originally considered or demanded, whereas temporary capital is Tifariti. Clear now? So Western Sahara is not a sovereign country yet. Okay, so now the point is here, you can learn about the countries by using sports mechanism also. And that is, take for example the cricket playing countries. South Africa we have, Zimbabwe, Namibia also once played in Cricket World Cup, whereas we have Kenya, and once upon a time 1975 if you see, that is Tanzania, Kenya and these countries grouped together as East Africa and they played in Cricket World Cup. But today we find South Africa, Zimbabwe and Kenya are cricket playing countries. When it comes to FIFA World Cup, particularly Nigeria and Cameroon are worth mentioning. Nigeria and Cameroon are worth mentioning that Nigeria and Cameroon both have won Olympic gold in men's football. Nigeria and Cameroon. Okay, so when it comes to football, the giants are Nigeria and Cameroon. When it is cricket, so South Africa, Zimbabwe and we have Kenya. But do you know that South Africa, besides cricket, it is a powerhouse in rugby. Clear now? South Africa has won twice. Clear now? Rugby World Cup. But when it comes to squash, it is Egypt which is very powerful. Clear now? So as we know, later on Pakistan for few years it ruled, but the thing is right from beginning and now also it is Egypt which is the powerhouse of the squash. And when it comes to Ethiopia and Kenya, both are today known for producing the marathon runners. Clear now? So the longest distance runners till today, the world is focusing only on Ethiopia and Kenya.